it seems impossible to find any organization that doesn't have, at the very least, just lots and lots of folders full of Excel files. But also, old databases that are on-prem or in legacy systems. Give me a sense of kind of where the tentacles of your data reach. Are you using any of these, IBM, Oracle, Teradata, or tools like Cockroach DB or any of these kinds of different DBs?
No, none of those.
Sure.
I mean, we have one main internal application that manages our grower systems, our grower contracts and payments and things like that. So that's homegrown. It's sitting on top of SQL Server kind of thing. So
yeah, SQL Server, sure.
Yep.
Yeah, an important database for sure.
Right.
Right. Okay, so great. You're kind of in the Microsoft area with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great.
We're assessing Snowflake as another example of where that might help us with some of the consumer data that I mentioned. Right.
Yeah. Now, when you say consumer data, are you talking about data to be consumed by your business units? Is that what I understand, or is this for customers and partners, or
our true consumers? So kind of that first party data. We collect information where they opt in to certain pieces, and then it would be leveraged for marketing purposes. Right?
Oh, got it. Yeah. Okay, great. So Snowflake's kind of on the horizon for that. Any reason why Snowflake is something you're thinking of POCing, or is it just there's been a big enough splash?
Yeah. I think it's just they're one of those leaders in this the data clean room aspect and consolidating across. So we'll explore them. We're exploring what Microsoft has to offer in that space. Right. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, and in Microsoft, it's it's what is it, Azure Synapse? So if you ended up looking at data warehousing options, there would be Synapse, and then of course BigQuery for Google Cloud. So, all right, moving down the data pipeline then, if you don't mind. So when you do any sort of reporting in business intelligence, a number of tools in this space. It's a pretty crowded market here, but there are some BI tools that flow around in here. Popular ones like Tableau, which has been kind of dropping a bit in terms of net score. Microsoft with Power BI and so on. We have a lot of observability vendors. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. But here's Looker from Google. I'm curious to know if you have taken a chance to look at Looker, if Google has pushed that on you or tried to upsell you that. Curious to see if anyone's gotten exposure to that.
Yeah, no, they have mentioned it as an opportunity, but we haven't done anything with it right now.
Yeah.
Again, given the SAP ecosystem, we're using the analytics cloud from SAP.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, and
Click is our secondary tool in-house right now.
Yeah.
I don't see them offhand on there, but
they're here. I think they're buried in the muck here in the middle.
Okay.
Yeah, where are they? Here we go. Oh, they're here. So they're just in this kind of olive color. But yeah, they're sort of down around the zero level for net spending. So there's just as many people positively spending as are negative. So it's sort of hovering. But yeah, Click is sort of its own BI ecosystem in its own way.
And then our third one is Power BI.
Power BI.
Actually, from the Microsoft standpoint.
Sure. So I want to talk a little about SAP Analytics Cloud. We don't get a lot of commentary about people who are using that, so I'm curious to see how you're using for reporting and analysis. So tell me how you're using it. Is dashboards reporting? Who are you building these things for? Is it self-service BI where the business units come in and make their own dashboards, or is it more of an IT-centered push out for the reports and dashboards, or what?
Yeah, so again, it's predominantly SAP data. So everything from sales information to inventory information to we're doing stuff on sustainability right now. So data that's within the SAP, and there might be some external data. The IT shop is doing the modeling. So taking the various data sources out of the S4 platform and then moving it into the HANA Cloud platform. And then the analytics cloud is more dashboard concepts, but with the ability to drill down accordingly on those. We've started we're getting more into the self-service. So we've got some key partners in the business that we're working with to kind of enable them to do more of that front-end presentation aspect of it.
Yeah. Great.
We've moved into some more real-time capability as well with it. So updated to provide that capability. Yeah,
so you're delivering kind of real-time visualizations through SAP Analytics Cloud?
Yes.
Great. So are there modules within SAP's ecosystem that enable that real-timeness, or are you connecting into something like Kafka or Confluent or something?
It's just within the SAP,
Cool.
that their data services tool set and things. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, that's cool. Good to hear.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think we've spoken to anyone recently who's used the real-time capabilities within SAP, so that's kind of useful to hear. It's all working well for you.
And honestly, it took us until we got to S4, which we'd moved to in 2021, and then updated our data warehouse to their newer generation to enable that. We tried to get real time for 3 or 4 years, and it was just too much of a challenge. So.
Yeah, and real time is a challenge, regardless. We hear from folks we speak to all the time that it's hard to find a good business case to justify the real time.
I think that's the other thing is it's very limited where they really need that real time data. So
Yeah, everybody wants data up to the second until you actually press them on Y.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the IT challenge. Well, good to hear about SAP's real time capabilities are stepping up, especially with S4HANA involved. Yeah, very good. Now, you also mentioned Power BI. That's no surprise given that you have some Azure and O365 footprint. Do you anticipate that growing? They tend to have they tend to be a very sticky product, right? So people start with Power BI as sort of, hey, our HR team uses it or whoever, and then eventually it grows and takes over. So do you see Power BI taking foot?
Yeah, more so, definitely. And again, we've kind of endorsed it for the self-service model particularly, and then so they still may be pulling the SAP data in, but a lot of times it may be stuff that only was in Excel and not in SAP itself. So we kind of fought it. We fought it at the get-go a little bit, but it was like, no, it's a great tool. Let's go leverage it, kind of thing. So
and it's it has certainly grown. I mean, I think the Power BI's kind of play in the market has really been phenomenal to see how fast they kind of came in and really challenged Tableau up front and Click. And they've sort of just continued to soar. So interesting to see where that goes. But anytime I hear of anyone that has any bit of Power BI footprint, it's usually a few years and it's grown a bit. So curious to see how that evolves for you. So
and at same time, Click is being decreased in usage on our side as well. Where we're kind of, that's the secondary or third choice. Click was here originally before we moved to the SAP Analytics Cloud, so that's why it's just kind of ingrained. So we didn't want to turn it off totally.
So Click is it's sort of its own contained ecosystem of data, right? That's strong in that way, but also a challenge because the semantic layer is difficult to branch out into other areas or share across different silos. So it's a nice kingdom when you're in it, but outside of it's more challenging. Is that part of why maybe Click is going away?
Right. And again, we wanted to leverage the Analytics Cloud where that made sense, just more consistent usage from that, and then we'll see Power BI take on a little more of that click exposure as well.